A player kneels in the dirt, begging for his life, and our boy revives him just to cut him down again.
6 deaths tonight. Then 7.
Each one drags the man's level closer to 0 and his gear into our boy's pockets, while the entire server pays real money just to watch it happen.
Apologize? You're apologizing to the wrong person, our boy says, that friendly, terrifying smile never moving.
The groveling wreck at his feet belongs to the Reaver Guild, a first-rate power no sane player dares touch. And that is the cruelest joke of all, because in a life only our boy remembers, this exact guild already betrayed him, used him up, and erased him from existence. So how does a broke nobody in old glasses end up farming a guild that terrifies the whole server before he's even hit level 10?
For that, we have to rewind, all the way back to the night they threw our boy away.
A cold voice slides out of the speaker and tells the man at the penthouse window that the board has voted. That he is to delete his own account and disappear from the game forever, and that a mansion on the city outskirts is his generous reward for 20 years of loyalty. The man doesn't so much as blink. This is our boy Xu Feng, once the Vice Guild leader who single-handedly dragged the Reaver Guild all the way up to Super Guild status in the biggest game the world has ever seen. Divine World. And the instant he became a threat, the people he built up voted to erase him. Below him, a pool party roars in celebration of the pampered heir who took his seat. The guild's rise owed everything to my 2 decades, he thinks, watching the strangers laugh. Every friend he ever made in that game abandoned him the second he slipped from the top. So our boy lies back on silk sheets and makes one bitter wish before sleep takes him. If he could redo it all, he would seize the chance without a shred of hesitation. Beep! An alarm clock he never set drags him out of the dark, and when his hand reaches for the smartwatch on his wrist, there is nothing there. He sits up in a cramped dorm room he hasn't seen in 20 years. His body is thin and soft again, his vision blurry, his old rectangular glasses waiting on the desk. Why does this look like the dorm I lived in during school? He mutters, certain he's dreaming. A phone dings, his old phone. The message is from Zhao Kai, a friend who, in the future our boy remembers, mysteriously vanished from the game and was never heard from again. And here he is, texting furiously, demanding to know where Xu Feng is because the school competition is starting. Amused, our boy decides to toy with the illusion and fires back one line. Who are you? 10 seconds later, the door bursts open and a bear of a man storms in, red-faced, sleeves shoved up, ready to brawl over the prank. To test whether any of this is real, Xu Feng walks over and drives a fist straight into Zhao Kai's cheek. A bruise blooms instantly. The sting in his own knuckles is very, very real. He checks the date, February 14th, 2174, 20 years before the betrayal that broke him. Our boy has been thrown all the way back to the day before Divine World launches, carrying every secret the whole world will waste decades failing to learn. So it was the naive decisions of my younger days, he whispers, a cold smile crawling up behind those glasses. This time, nobody tramples over our boy. This time, he monopolizes everything worth having, and the rest of them can fight over scraps. He drags a bewildered Zhao Kai back, refuses to attend the trivial school competition, and tells his friend flatly, once Divine World releases, everyone's focus will turn to the virtual world. Zhao Kai just stares, convinced his buddy has lost his mind. Then our boy blows every cent of his savings, scholarship money included, on a virtual helmet and 2 bottles of life water, the miracle drink that refreshes body and mind. A broke student torching his entire life on a game. Classmates would faint. Xu Feng only smiles, because he alone knows what tomorrow brings. Launch day. He slides the helmet on and drops into a blinding tunnel of light. A system prompt greets him, warm and clueless. Welcome, brave adventurer. Choose your class. 10 options glitter before a man who already knows the ending of every single one. Without hesitation, our boy picks Cleric, a class every player will write off as a boring healer, which is exactly why nobody will ever see him coming. He maxes his appearance edit to stay anonymous, and, too lazy to be clever, names his character Lin Feng. From now on, in the game, he is Lin Feng. In the real world, he is still Xu Feng. One schemer, 2 faces. Then, instead of rushing to pick a birthplace like every greedy rusher in history, Our boy does what no one else on the server thinks to do. He looks the system dead in the eye and humbly begs for a little experience before his real journey begins. Silence. The system hesitates, then approves. Lin Feng is granted 1 hour in a training zone, with a catch. When the timer hits 0, he is teleported to a completely random starting town, whether he likes it or not. A gamble. Our boy grits his teeth and takes it. The light swallows him again, and when it clears, his jaw nearly drops. This isn't the ordinary sanctuary a bragging player will stumble into years from now. This is the holy sanctuary itself, a place the apex players of his old life never even found a rumor of. Fortune is on my side, he breathes, staring up at ivory spires and gardens humming with raw mana that buffs him just for standing there. 1 hour, and he already knows exactly what he's here to steal. At the heart of the sanctuary sits a coliseum guarded by an NPC radiating so much pressure our boy can barely breathe. He bows low, plays the humble pilgrim, and talks his way onto the baptismal altar. 10 minutes, no more. He strips off his caution and dives into a pool of glistening crystal water. Cold floods every pore, agony beyond anything he braced for, and our boy clenches his teeth and refuses to cower, because he knows the prize waiting on the other side. Warmth erupts through the ice. Lin Feng breaks the surface, gasping, reborn, his connection to the entire game world roaring to life.
Baptism, a boost stronger than any class change, the thing he once watched lucky bastards flaunt while he seethed. Now our boy is the lucky bastard, but 10 minutes of paradise isn't enough for a greedy man. On his way out, he remembers the miracle herb garden, stuffed with rare herbs that won't surface anywhere else until the endgame, herbs he can turn into potions that don't exist yet. Guards block the garden gate, so our boy squares his shoulders, puts on the swagger of a noble, and coldly demands entry, claiming the guardian himself blessed him after his baptism. He gives the guards no time to think, because a bluff only shatters the moment you let your target breathe.
The dumb early game NPCs waver. He offers a generous compromise. Let him wait inside while they verify his story, knowing full well he'll be teleported out before verification ever finishes. They agree. Our schemer strolls in, laughing on the inside. Inside, he empties the garden like a swarm of locusts, sunfire lotus, starlight blossom, moonshadow fern, all of it vanishing into his inventory. He robs it 70% clean before an angry shout finally echoes. The real guardian has caught his lie. Cornered, Lin Feng snatches a sunfire lotus, holds his sacred fire flame against it, and quivers like a coward, whimpering that one wrong move will destroy this precious herb. The guards freeze, never realizing that a fire-resist herb can't even be scorched. He stalls, weeps fake tears, tends the poor herbs, and robs the last 30% while the guards stand helplessly outside. Then the timer hits 0, and just as our boy grins goodbye, a system message drops like a hammer. Because he cheated his way in under the system's own jurisdiction, our boy is caught red-handed by the game itself and slapped with a punishment. For 3 whole days, experience from killing normal monsters is cut by 99%. Any other player would rage quit on the spot. A 99% cut at launch is like starting a marathon a month behind. Our boy just laughs. He never planned to grind trash mobs like the rest of the cattle. He's got a bag full of endgame herbs and a monopoly to build. He's dumped into Riverwood Town, deep inside the fiercely competitive Aetheria Empire, wedged between wealthy heirs. A curse for anyone else. For a schemer who plays people better than he plays monsters, it's a gold mine, begging to be strip-mined. He cracks his knuckles behind those glasses and gets to work. First, he charms an NPC herbalist named Elias with a handful of rare herbs, quietly building rapport that will pay off in ways the old man can't imagine. Then our boy locks himself away and starts synthesizing the one thing this whole region is about to be desperate for. Failure after failure, herbs turning to smoke, and our guy never so much as twitches. He resets and tries again, until he emerges with 48 prime potions and 94 cheap, inferior ones. And the inferior batch is the genius part. Shorter duration means players must keep buying more and more and more. I'm really such a saint. I need to stop being so generous, he sighs, hand on heart, pricing fire resistance potions that literally no one else in the world can make yet. Because Riverwood sits beside a searing beginner dungeon, Scorched Caverns, the moment our boy lists 4 fire resistance potions on the auction market, the entire region loses its mind. A bidding war explodes until a mysterious buyer slams the buyout on all 4 and sends everyone into a panic. That buyer is Gentle Wind, leader of the Rising Silver Wind Guild, hunting the dungeon's first clear achievement. She messages our anonymous schemer directly, desperate, offering real-world cash, $100,000 for a single batch. Lin Feng's glasses flash. He runs the exchange rate in his head and realizes she's overpaying by 90% in her panic. I'm actually making a killing here, he thinks, savoring the golden goose that walked up and begged to be plucked. And this is the secret behind our boy's whole empire. The system never prints coins, so in-game currency stays brutally scarce, and its real-world price only climbs. Every player is desperate to trade dollars for copper, and our boy, sitting on potions and future knowledge no one else has, is the one man who can turn other people's panic into a fortune that follows him out of the game and into the real world. To fatten that goose, he posts a clear guide for Scorched Caverns. Truth laced with just enough lies to guarantee players get within reach of the finish, fail, and come crawling back for more potions to try again. Supply, demand, and despair, all engineered by one man on a park bench, yawning. He plays coy, denies being the seller, dangles the first clear achievement, and reels Gentle Wind tighter and tighter, until she agrees to let him personally lead her elite guild into the dungeon as a masked consultant. They descend into Scorched Caverns, and our boy walks the burning passages like he owns them, because in his old life, he does. When his knowledge gets too obvious, sharp-tongued Vice Leader Autumn Breeze solves it for him. He must have died here on Hell Mode dozens of times, which is why he's stuck at level 2. He just scratches his head and lets her believe the lie. At the passage's end waits the Inferno Tyrant, a mountain of magma and obsidian whose roar alone floods the whole team with dread. A berserker whimpers, there's no way to beat it, and Autumn Breeze smacks the back of his head for cowardice. Our boy steps in coolly. The tyrant has an aura of intimidation that hits tanks hardest, he explains, saving the berserker's pride, conveniently never mentioning that he himself is immune, thanks to a baptism no one knows about.
He seizes command. When we start, you obey my every word.
Even if your teammate is dying, you do nothing unless I say so. Gentle Wind backs him. Anyone who disobeys is removed from the guild. The raid is his to conduct now. He reveals the tyrant's deadliest skill, Incinerate, an instant wipe on whoever it targets. Then casually asks Gentle Wind who she'd like to sacrifice. She squirms, then hands the choice back to him with a cheeky smile. Big mistake. Our schemer has already picked his victims. The raid ignites. Lava floods the arena, tanks charge, and Lin Feng runs the fight like a chess master, baiting the boss onto a summoned water elementalist, cracking its molten legs, toppling the giant exactly on cue. Does it know anything but roaring? The tyrant answers by vomiting up a swarm of lava golems. You had to ask, didn't you? Our boy sighs, as every panicked eye swings to the mortified vice leader. As the golems merge into one towering horror and Gentle Wind's elites start to despair, our boy just smiles. This isn't even the finale yet, he says, and on his cue, Gentle Wind fires her strongest spell straight at a blank wall, cracking it open to reveal the sacrificed steel shot, very much alive, and dragging 2 rival monsters into the chaos. Every despairing face freezes. It was all scripted from the very start. He hurls a fire resistance potion at the 2 feral monsters. The splash blurs their vision and turns them into his drunken attack dogs, tearing the boss's lava golem apart while the tyrant roars in helpless fury. Then, as the boss winds up Incinerate, our boy quietly buffs 2 specific players, a berserker and a timid sorceress named Silent Whisper, and drops the truth like ice water. Incinerate can hit multiple targets, and these 2 traitors have met the condition. Silent Whisper wails that she's no traitor, but the tyrant's heat is already locked on. In a single flash, both are wiped from the fight, and our schemer doesn't feel a flicker of guilt. He spotted the 2 moles inside Gentle Wind's elite from the very beginning, and he simply let the boss handle them. With the traitors gone and the boss battered, Lin Feng steps back and hands the spotlight to Gentle Wind, coaching her to publish only the clean footage so the world sees her leadership. "Thanks for the hard work," she says, understanding every layer of the favor. The system chimes. Silverwind Guild has cleared Hell Mode Scorched Caverns. The whole town erupts with the news, and our boy walks away from it completely unseen, exactly as planned, already onto his next scheme. The system's victory announcement rings out 3 times across the region, and Gentle Wind's members go from stunned silence to open euphoria. "Who dares say they're better than us now?" one roars. "Let them try clearing Hell Mode at this level." Overnight, Silverwind is the #1 guild on the server, and not a soul knows a masked stranger handed them the crown. Gentle Wind throws open recruitment, and the forum detonates. Players abandon their own guilds in droves just to chase her banner. The very crowd that camped to catch the mysterious potion seller forgets he ever existed. Our boy couldn't have engineered a better smokescreen if he tried. And, of course, he did. A proud solo streamer called One Man Media, the name itself a badge of his lone wolf pride, turns up wanting an interview and gets ambushed by a recruitment offer instead. He politely refuses. He answers to no guild. Our boy watches from the shadows and quietly files the man away. A media mouthpiece who refuses to be owned is exactly the kind of tool he'll bend to his will later. Meanwhile, our schemer quietly rents a room in a Riverwood skyscraper from an owner in financial difficulty, except the lavish interior tells a very different story. Something about it doesn't add up, and our boy files that thread away too. In his second life, every loose thread is a leash waiting to be pulled. Right on cue, both Gentle Wind and Autumn Breeze message him at the very same instant, sweetly scolding him for slipping away without celebrating and dangling spots in their guild. Our boy nearly laughs. And here I thought I was the shameless one. 2 of the sharpest women on the server trying to poach him in perfect unison. And neither has the faintest idea they're also the sister and best friend of his goofball roommate in the real world. Then a badge arrives from herbalist Elias, and a system prompt lights up. For his meritorious achievement, Lin Fang is granted noble status, Baron. Our boy's stoic face doesn't move, but inside, he's dancing. And it isn't some small-town title. His Baron rank answers to the entire Aetheria Empire, forcing every town in the Empire to bow to our boy. In one stroke, the game's cruel little experience punishment is drowned by a reward players would kill for. "I'll take that debuff any day," he laughs inside. The Baron title comes with the right to loot 2 items from the town vault and an insurgency mission against rogue mercenaries. Our guy accepts with a righteous, humble smile and a full plan already built in his head before the NPC even finishes speaking. He has the receptionist, Sandy, escort him to the vault, feeding her a smooth lie about hidden spies in the town hall so they keep the trip quiet. The clever little NPC swallows it whole. That should be attributed to my charm, our boy thinks, unbearably pleased with himself, walking out with 2 vault prizes for free. On the road, a pack of robbers thinks they found easy prey and tails our boy and Shadowblade into a discreet hallway. But the hallway is secretly wired to an NPC training ground, and their own loud footsteps summon the guards, who wipe the ambushers out on the spot. "Oh, so that's why you told me to stay put," Zhao Kai marvels, realizing his friend even weaponizes the map itself. And the would-be robbers, it turns out, had a fortune of stolen coin on them, which now spills into our boy's hands, a heavy sack of everyone they'd ever robbed. A gang of thieves pick the one mark who robs the robbers. He pockets it with a smile and messages Shadowblade to hurry to Riverwood. In a game where 2 towns can be worlds apart, our boy has no patience for dead-end places. Through Oakwood Town and into the eerie fog of the verdant valley they push, where a pack of shadow wolves comes howling out of the mist. And of course, the wolves swarm the fragile cleric, ignoring the heavily armored tank entirely. Talk about being discriminated against, our boy sighs, adjusting his glasses, deliberately holding every wolf's attention on himself. Focus on the kill, Kai. Don't worry about me. Shadowblade drills the exact critical points our boy mapped for him, and one by one, the pack drops. Level up, earned not by grinding trash, but by turning himself into living bait. Meanwhile, the whole server's attention has swung to Gentle Wind's recruitment drive, and the crowd of players once camping to catch the mysterious potion seller gives up and wanders off. Lin Fang strolls right past them. A broke-looking healer nobody would ever suspect is the man who rigged the entire market. Now our boy pulls his best friend into the game. In the real world, Zhao Kai is a loud, foodie goofball. In Divine World, he rolls a gun knight named Shadowblade. And almost immediately, Shu Feng notices something is very wrong with him. Shadowblade has become obsessed with food, devouring every skewer in sight and drawing stares from wary villagers. Our boy investigates and finds the truth. His clueless friend bought a special gift from a random vendor and accidentally unlocked a rare EX skill called Gluttony. Gluttony bypasses class limits entirely, draining enemy health and mana, stealing skills, converting essence into raw attack power, at the cost of ravenous hunger if left running. Our boy is honestly jealous. How did this idiot luck into a treasure just because he was in a bad mood and wanted a snack? He teaches Shadowblade to switch the skill off outside combat, quietly furious at himself for missing it, then drags his friend deep into a hidden pocket dimension, Willowbrook Village, hunting a legendary blacksmith. It also explains something that had been nagging our boy, why their grind had felt suspiciously effortless. All along, Shadowblade's Gluttony had been silently devouring monsters mid-fight and stacking hidden buffs on top of our boy's own, hiding in plain sight. Even a 2-lifetime schemer got quietly out-cheated by a goofball who just wanted a snack. Where Shadowblade terrifies villagers just by asking directions, our boy charms them in seconds because he treats every NPC like a future customer who needs to love him. If you'd stop drooling over food, you'd learn a thing or two, he tells his sulking friend, stealing the last skewer for good measure. And whenever Zhao Kai drags his feet, our boy doesn't argue. He just dangles the promise of new, better food, and his friend's mood flips a full 180 on the spot. Our schemer plays even his best friend like an instrument, gently, because he knows exactly which string to pluck. Following the ring of a hammer, they reach Thorin Forgefire's forge, the start of a blacksmith relationship that will one day birth a growth-type weapon, a blade that levels up alongside its wielder. But first, our boy has to earn a master craftsman's trust, and he sets his gullible friend loose to grind rapport like a good errand boy. Then he hands Shadowblade a small favor: wipe out 200 monster parts, alone. His friend nearly chokes on his own spit, howling that it's impossible, chasing our cackling schemer straight through a teleport into the verdant valley. But Zhao Kai surprises even him. Days later, our boy finds his friend still grinding an ironwood treant, marking every strike, patiently hunting the critical points without complaint. For once, Lin Feng smiles. Not his fake, polite smile, but a real one. And quietly logs out without a word, refusing to break the immersion of a man finally becoming a fighter. At the forge, the blacksmith's fierce daughter Fiona Forgefire greets them with a raised hammer and a blunt threat, softening only when a dumbstruck Shadowblade bows 90 degrees and hands over the delivery letter with both hands. Rapport, our boy has taught him, is a currency you spend one polite gesture at a time. Then Shadowblade, of all people, drops a genius idea in our boy's lap. Under the game's absolute contracts, he can lend out powerful weapons he can't yet equip, for a fee, with zero risk of being cheated, and a 10-fold penalty if the borrower fails to return them. Our schemer's mind explodes like a struck bell. A whole new money machine, gift-wrapped by a goofball who has no idea what he just unlocked. Then a whale swims in. A towering, irrational brute named Harold Fist buys our boy's dungeon guide at a steep premium. And Lin Feng recognizes him instantly as Zhang Ti-chan, heir to the Zhang's group, only pretending to be a hothead. Our boy sells to him gladly, not just for the coin, but because a famously fierce man's loud approval is the best free advertising money can buy. Later, stung by losing face to Gentle Wind, Harold Fist tries to strike back with a forum post meant to drag her down, and it detonates in his own hand. The timing only makes Silver Wind look stronger, and Gentle Wind, calm as ever, tells a baffled Silent Whisper they ought to thank him for the free publicity. Every enemy in this game, it seems, keeps accidentally working for the winning side, and behind the scenes, our boy earns the coveted Master Alchemist title. Then leans on his rapport with herbalist Elias to borrow a staggering 50 gold coins, sacrificing a fortune in rare herbs just to make the loan happen. The wealth he flaunts isn't even his. It's leveraged to the hilt, one bad bet away from collapse, and our boy is betting it all on a future only he can see. While our boy schemes in the game, the story quietly reveals who his marks really are. Vice leader Autumn Breeze logs out and steps out of a gaming capsule into a sleek CEO office as Zhao Xin, ruthless chief of the Zhang Enterprise, staring down a skyline she owns a piece of. And here's the delicious part our boy doesn't fully know yet. Zhao Xin is Zhao Kai's own elder half-sister. The rich CEO he's been outmaneuvering in-game is the big sister of his goofball best friend, and her closest confidant, Gentle Wind, is a woman named Feng Qingro. Zhao Xin sweeps into a shareholders meeting to pitch Project Genesis, a multi-billion-dollar plan to plant her empire's flag inside Divine World, promising a five-fold return. The room gasps. Then the doors bang open, and her two scheming elder brothers stroll in to sabotage her in front of everyone. Little sister really knows how to boast, one brother sneers. Are you sure it's a five-fold return and not a five-fold loss? But Zhao Xin set this exact trap the day she chose to help her friend. And she's about to make the arrogant fools regret opening their mouths. The two brothers, Zhao Ming and Zhao Heng, pile on in fake concern, urging her to be honest with the shareholders about how she's harming the company. What they don't grasp is who they're facing. The granddaughter their grandfather Zhao Guofu handed his entire fortune to over their own sidelined father. With cold precision, Zhao Xin flips the trap inside out. She wins the shareholders billions, greenlights Project Genesis, and exposes the two brothers as the real traitors bleeding the company, leaving them humiliated in front of the very people they came to impress. And in the game, our boy plants a seed in Shadowblade's head so outrageous, his friend just laughs it off. That one day, the two of them will take control of the Zhao Enterprise itself. Zhao Kai brushes it aside, like a joke. Our boy doesn't smile. He's wanted exactly this for 2 lifetimes. He simply never had the capital. Until now. Back on his own feet, our boy's real-world glow-up accelerates too. He registers himself into the systems of the exclusive Apex Tower and rides a high-tech car steered by an AI named Vera, gliding into an underground lot packed with vehicles finer than his own. The broke student is quietly buying his way into a world that once wouldn't let him through the door. Back in Xu Feng's real world, his poverty makes him prey too. A rich, chubby young master named Ning Yi, arrogant but oddly principled, sizes our boy up in a luxury store. And after a tense standoff, Lin Feng plays him so smoothly that Ning Yi is calling him brother and paying for his suits within minutes. Our boy walks out transformed, lean frame wrapped in tailored black, brown hair styled sharp, keeping only the old rectangular glasses on purpose. Those glasses are a private vow. He'll only switch to contacts the day he's finally ready to reshape the world. And the transformation isn't just the suit. Fueled by the life water he blew his savings on and a punishing daily routine, our boy is steadily reforging the soft, out-of-shape body he woke up in back into the fit frame of the man he used to be, sweating through exercises that leave him drenched, refusing to quit. In 2 lifetimes, he learned one truth the hard way. A sharp mind means nothing if the body it lives in can be pushed around. Then he tells his new brother where he's headed, the Kingston School Dean's office, to answer for a competition he supposedly sabotaged. Ning Yi's face darkens, because his own father, Ning Huo, is one of Kingston's power players, and someone framing a student behind their backs is a slap to that authority. Enter the villain, Dean Chao, who once used a poor, talented Xu Feng as a disposable tool, denied him his promised money, and now plans to expel and crush our boy for daring to skip the competition, to grind him into begging for mercy on the street. But our boy walks in and flips the whole trap. Cold, relaxed, razor sharp, he calmly exposes how Dean Qiao showers rich students with rewards while squeezing the poor ones dry. Every word landing like a blade while Ning Yi listens silently from just outside. Dean Qiao snaps, screaming expulsion, nullifying our boy's records. Lin Feng simply stands, taps the desk, and mouths 3 silent words the dean reads perfectly. You are finished. Then he strolls out because Ning Yi heard every word, and the dean's days of unchecked power are already numbered. Back in his office, the clueless dean sinks into his chair, baffled by where the coy, submissive student found such nerve, and orders his secretary to reassure the parents that the troublemaker is expelled and the matter closed. He has no idea that in 2 days, a school board meeting looms, one that Ning Yi's father, Ning Huo, will personally attend, with our boy's evidence already in hand. The dominoes keep toppling. Cruising to buy a car, our boy is intercepted by a luxury vehicle. Zhao Xin herself, come to bribe the leech into making her little brother dress properly for their grandfather's birthday. Our guy climbs in, unbothered, and immediately starts running circles around her and her icy assistant, Anna Liu. Every line he fires is witty and edged, and slowly the CEO's face darkens. Her dossier said Xu Feng was a useless, easily trampled bumpkin, but this man dodges her traps, teases her PA into slipping up, and calmly deduces she's had him investigated from the start. What were those people even researching, she wonders, unsettled to her core. Then, Zhao Xin, still convinced he's a nobody, offers a recommendation. If he wants to rise in Divine World,
He should try joining a rising guild run by her dear friend, the Silver Wind Guild.
our boy nearly chokes on his own saliva. Because the CEO in this car is Autumn Breeze, her dear friend Feng Qingro is Gentle Wind. The two women he's been quietly playing sit right on top of his double life, and they have no idea. To them, Xu Fong is a broke leech, while Lin Fong is a genius they'd both love to recruit. The same man. The engine of dramatic irony is now fully lit, and our boy is the only soul alive who can see all the wires. He climbs out of the car, adjusts his glasses, and lets the rich and powerful keep underestimating the nobody who already holds every card. Back in the game, our schemer keeps stacking chips. He takes over the flow of Riverwood's economy, cultivates a media personality called One Man Media, and turns his rare crafting into a machine that mints coins, while lesser players still squabble over iron swords. In the real world, the change is just as stark. A shabbily dressed Xu Feng walks into the gleaming Global Trust Bank and gets escorted straight past suspicious guards to a private office. Because our broke student is now a millionaire, his account swollen with deposits from VIPs like Feng Qingro herself. The banker nervously points out that Xu Feng went from $5,000 spent in a single day to sudden fortune. Our boy just crosses his legs, adjusts his glasses, and lets the man squirm. Let them wonder who he really is. The mystery only makes him more untouchable. He hunts down the blacksmith's daughter, Fiona Forgefire, and commissions the one thing that will define his late game, a growth-type weapon, a blade that evolves as its wielder grows. She charges 50 gold coins, certain a raggedy player like him can't possibly pay, and nearly faints when he does. I can't promise when I'll finish, Fiona warns. Growth-type weapons almost never come out right. Our boy just smiles, because his cheat knowledge already told him she'll one day become a legendary pinnacle blacksmith. It isn't a gamble for him, it's a guaranteed bet. Then, with a stream of silver-tongued flattery, our boy pulls a fast one on the fierce blacksmith, talking her into handing over loaner weapons for free and a 30% discount on her storage room stock. Fiona is thoroughly played and knows it, yet somehow can't bring herself to be angry. He hasn't just commissioned a weapon, he's quietly locked down his future supplier. He drags Shadowblade through the Embercliff caverns, brewing elixirs, farming pyrite drakes, steadily leveling despite the system's grudge. Because our boy never needed trash mobs, he milks bosses, quests, nobles, and human greed instead. Along the way, he unlocks a Tier 2 summon, the Abyssal Phantom. A shadow creature he keeps alive indefinitely with a cleric's endless heals and buffs, letting a fragile healer solo things that should tear him to pieces. Players start whispering that Lin Feng must secretly be a summoner. He just grins and lets the myth grow. Then, alone atop a cliff with a flock of pyrite drakes and no witnesses for miles, our boy finally does what he's had no chance to do. He stops scheming and cuts loose. For once, there's no market to rig, no crowd to fool, just a cleric proving he was never fragile at all. Tearing through metal-scaled drakes with the combat instincts of a man who once ruled a super guild. Zhao Kai has already seen a taste of it. Watching our boy hammer an ironwood treant's critical point 100 consecutive times without a single miss, his hands tremble, not with fear, but pure disbelief. And when Lin Feng casually picks up a gun that isn't even his class and lands perfect recoilless shots, Shadowblade can only gape. Why did he ever choose cleric? To even reach those drakes, our boy first grinds out a batch of elemental disruption elixirs in Embercliff, failing the final step again and again. Mini explosions blackening his face until he finally cracks it, The one concoction that can blind the drakes and turn a hopeless, over-leveled hunt into a clean sweep. He tops it off with a system reward, the Gauntlets of Precision. He clears the nest, sweeps the fallen drakes into his inventory before the blinding wears off, then glides down off the cliff on a broken drake wing in pure swagger. A weak healer, walking away from an over-level hunt with a bountiful haul and a smirk. He also unleashes a hidden gift from his baptism, Divine Wrath, a 2-minute surge that floods him with radiant power and turns a support class into a monster. But our boy already knows this blessing hides a curse, whispered about by the few who ever triggered it, and he's careful about when he dares to spend it. To take a shadow wolf den at night, our boy sets a trap. He lays out bait to lure the whole pack into a wide-open kill zone outside their habitat, coaching a jittery shadow blade to hold his fire until the exact moment. His friend's nerve wavers. My aim's really not that good. The pressure's too much. But our boy just waits. The pack pours out and swarms the bait, their guard down exactly as planned. When Zhao Kai lines up a dead-certain shot and it clips wide off a wolf lunging midair, he panics, but our boy just pats his shoulder. That twitchy, unpredictable movement is the tell he wanted. The pack is fully committed now, distracted and boxed in. When the pack finally turns to fight, our boy spends his forbidden card. Divine Wrath ignites, and the fragile healer carves the den apart in a blaze of radiant power. Then the last wolf drops, and so does he, collapsing to the ground, drained to the bone, vision swimming, barely able to stand. The rumors were true. This power has a brutal price, and our boy pays it in full. Afterward, when Shadowblade whines that they came all this way just to feed some wolves, our boy refuses to hand him the answer. Think harder. Work out why I did it, he prods, turning a hunt into a lesson in patience and manipulation. Zhao Kai finally gets it and grins. Are you secretly some rich family's son, Feng? This kind of scheming takes years. He has no idea just how many years, or how far away, our boy's schooling really came from. At the Mercenary Association, where fighters are ranked Tier 1 through 9, our boy hunts for the best hire he can afford and settles on a blunt, axe-swinging mercenary named Jeff. He seals the deal for a handful of silver. Then, in front of every watching mercenary, tips the 2 guards who helped him a full silver coin each. Jeff's jaw drops. In a world where respect is bought with results and generosity, our boy just bought a loyal blade. Then he crosses paths with a stubborn elementalist being harassed by thugs and dismissed by everyone, a timid woman named Carmen, freshly kicked from a party that decided she was dead weight. When our boy refuses to abandon her, she's stunned. The last party dropped me harshly. I was sure no sane player would help. He only chuckles. Don't lump me in with them. Only the skillless would ever cast you aside. She's floored again when the confident DPS she assumed him to be turns out to be a cleric. And floored a third time when, instead of fighting over loot like her old team, our boy shares it fairly and sternly. Moved by rare decency, she hands him a precious EXP potion of her own free will. Now I really want you in my future guild, he tells her, meaning every word. And the more they travel together, the more the timid newbie thaws into someone cheeky and sharp, trading barbs that leave even our unflappable schemer twitching his mouth. She admits she only freezes up around strangers in new places, a shy shell hiding the fearsome summoner she'll one day become. Our boy sees the potential clear as day and quietly refuses to let this one slip through his fingers. When she nervously blurts her in-game name, our boy freezes like he's been struck by lightning. Lunar Wraith. In his old life, that name belonged to a demoness summoner who terrified entire super guilds, and she's standing right in front of him as a frightened newbie. Just call me Feng, he says smoothly, already deciding this future legend belongs on his side. The 3 of them cut a path through the wild, Jeff's axe-splitting beasts up front, Carmen's summoned elementalists raining spells. Our boy conducting from the back and quietly leveling on kills the system swore he'd never profit from. Beat by beat, a fragile healer, a dismissed newbie, and a hired blade start moving like a real team. Somewhere in there, our boy quietly turns himself into a nightmare. His baptism granted him 3 rare upgrade slots, and he spends 1 to enhance the basic revive into divine resurrection. a skill that can drag the recently dead back to a chosen spot instead of a safe town. He doesn't fully realize it yet, but he's just forged the exact weapon he'll use to break a super guild. The Brightstone Ravine tests the new crew hard. Strange, unpredictable monsters called Rayburls keep ambushing them out of nowhere. And even the veteran Jeff, who knows this forest like his own hand, throws up his arms in dismay after the 5th surprise attack.
Something is drawing the beasts to them, and our boy files that mystery away for later too.
Then, deep in a brutal ravine, they're ambushed by a Skyrazor Harbinger, a level 29 aerial predator far above their heads, its wings churning up storms that fling everyone aside. Jeff can barely scratch its metal feathers, and when it dives at Carmen, it looks like the end. Then our fragile healer plants himself in front of the beak and deflects a blow that should have shredded him. Health untouched, calling his Abyssal Phantom to trade strikes with a monster 20 levels stronger. Even Jeff, a hardened mercenary, gapes at what this noble just pulled off. The Harbinger's killing intent peaks, and it dives straight for Lin Feng, certain he's given up.
Let's die together, our boy mutters, taking the hit head on until his health drops to 5%.
Then he drops Sacred Fire beneath his own feet, setting the diving monster's wings ablaze and burning away his last sliver of health on purpose.
The system announces his death and drops him into a dark void with an extra prompt no ordinary player will ever see. He possesses the skill Divine Resurrection.
Our boy laughs in the dark. He hasn't felt the sting of death since he ruled the top of the Reaver Guild. He accepts, revives with 0 penalty, and steps right back into the fight. His fake death worked perfectly. The Harbinger's wings are ruined. It can't fly, and now Jeff is grinding it into the dirt. Carmen stares at the man who just died and undied on command. "Have you ever seen an expert fall?" our boy asks smugly. "Yes," she replies flatly, and our unshakable schemer nearly chokes on the comeback. Now our boy turns his crafting empire into propaganda. He drags one-man media into a hidden rebel base, packed with red-named enemy NPCs, and shoves him to the front as bait, testing the man's nerve while quietly recording from the shadows.
But first, our boy has a little fun at his new tool's expense.
When he sends one-man media to the Silver Wind Guild for an interview, Steelshot blocks the way and coldly demands a secret code word, a deliberately mortifying phrase Lin Feng planted in advance. Choking on his own humiliation, the proud solo streamer has to recite it just to pass, learning firsthand what it costs to owe our boy a favor. Altering his voice into a hype man's, our boy narrates a totally spontaneous battle for the camera. Hyping one-man media as a lone hero stumbling on a secret hideout, a fully staged clip only one-man media can be blamed for.
"I've been trapped thoroughly," the poor man realizes, swinging his sword on cue.
When one-man media falters, a staff flashes in and finishes the enemy for him. Lin Feng himself, snatching the kill and handing the sword back without a word. Then our boy vanishes off camera again, leaving his puppet holding the blade and all the credit. One-man media is no fool. "Your boss didn't hand me a weapon like this out of kindness," he says coolly, sensing the strings attached. Our boy just smiles, carrot and stick. In an industry where spreading fake news is the one unforgivable sin, our schemer dangles that exact fear over his new mouthpiece, binding the man's freedom to his silence. And the rebel behind the whole hideout, a schemer named Rolf, turns out to have dreamed of toppling the town mayor and ruling with an iron fist. Our boy reads the man's ambitions in a single glance, snuffs the dream out, and folds the wreckage neatly into his own climb. Everyone's plan, in the end, becomes fuel for his. But deeper in that hideout, our boy finds something that turns cold calculation into genuine anger. A locked cell of prisoners the rebels had been holding, worn down and frightened. His scheming pauses. Their captors have already been dealt with, and he leads the freed prisoners toward the light. Their leader, a wary woman, refuses even a bottle of water from a stranger. So our boy makes it a transaction, her name for the water, enough for all the prisoners. "Clara," she finally mutters, snatching it. Trust like that can't be bought in seconds, but our boy plants the first seed and sends one-man media off to publish the clip that will send players storming every hideout on the map. When one-man media finally sees the freed captives trailing behind our boy, the cold, ruthless way he had cleared the hideout earlier suddenly makes sense, and his fear curdles into genuine respect. His edited clip drops, players swallow the heroic framing whole, and a gold rush of raids erupts across the map, every one of them, unknowingly, marching to the tune our boy quietly composed. His noble standing climbs higher, Baron Feng now, his rapport with the town receptionist Sandy warming from amicable to friendly.
Unlocking whispered information and quiet favors that other players will never even know exist. Our boy plays NPCs like instruments.
And back at the forge, Fiona hasn't stopped hammering, barely acknowledging her own returning father, obsessed with the growth weapon our boy commissioned. Zhao Kai grumbles that he nearly got killed by the old man, who blames him for stealing his daughter's attention. Somewhere in that forge, the blade that will one day be called Stormfang is slowly being born. Before the real war begins, our boy sharpens his own edge. He finally hits the level to equip the goodies he'd been hoarding from Fiona and turns his kit from weak cleric into something that quietly outclasses players twice his level. Every card he's been holding face down is about to flip. His noble reach spreads with it. His Baron rank greases every NPC guard he meets. His rapport with Sandy keeps opening hidden doors. And when One Man Media's staged clip finally goes live, players across the region storm every rebel hideout on the map, freeing more captives, chasing more coin, and driving traffic to the one man who quietly authored the whole frenzy. Then comes the arc that ties the whole revenge together. Carmen's mission leads them to an Ironhide behemoth lair, and it isn't one beast, but a whole family. Adults and younglings, a nightmare far beyond a level 10 party. Our boy turns the odds with cunning and control. He lures the weak-willed younglings away with bait, while Jeff plants himself as a wall. Cast at ease, Lady Wraith, I'll keep them off you. And Carmen rains spells from safety. It's the first time the three of them fight as a true coordinated crew. Then, when the adults threaten to overwhelm them, our boy does the unthinkable for a healer. Using debris spike traps and sacred fire, he delays, wounds, and single-handedly brings down a full-grown adult behemoth, a feat that flips Jeff's lingering fear into open reverence. A healer can be this terrifying? The hardened mercenary thinks, suddenly very glad he never crossed this man. Hunting Ironhide behemoths for Carmen's mission, our boy is then ambushed by a pack of arrogant players, and their guild is the Reaver Guild. The very organization that will one day betray and erase him is standing right in front of him, 20 years too early, sneering at a nobody. Their leader, 100 Ghost, orders his crew to kill Lin Feng back to level 0, treating our boy like an insect. But Jeff drops the attackers with single swings, and one by one, the Reaver thugs die and respawn. Except 100 Ghost, whom our boy keeps personally reviving with divine resurrection, only to have Jeff cut him down again. Over and over, the arrogant enforcer is killed, revived, and killed, his level bleeding from 8 towards 0, his gear scattering into Lin Feng's inventory. He pleads, apologizes, grovels to the wrong person on purpose, and our boy just smiles that friendly, terrifying smile and tells Jeff to keep going. The trick is pure cruelty dressed as courtesy. A normal player who dies simply respawns in a town, safe. But our boy's divine resurrection drags 100 Ghost back to the exact spot to be cut down again. No escape. No respawn, no mercy, because logging out mid-combat carries a penalty far worse than staying and suffering. The enforcer is trapped in a loop of his own arrogance. Carmen watches, wide-eyed, as this gentle healer methodically strips a first-rate guild's champion of everything he owns. To her, 100 Ghost was an untouchable predator who'd hunted her for weeks. To our boy, he's just a lesson being taught in public, and a stack of free equipment. "Did you think you hadn't already made an enemy of me?" our boy asks, adjusting his glasses. "I'll wait for your revenge." And with that, a man from the guild that once threw Shu Feng away is dragged all the way back to level 0, stripped of everything, by the very person they'll spend the next 20 years underestimating. In the real world, 100 Ghost, a man named Gui Sha, rips his office apart screaming the name Lin Feng, and slaps a bounty on our boy, 10 silver coins for his death, a staggering fortune this early in the game. His rival Eagle Snipe gloats, then agrees, because nobody disrespects the Reaver Guild and walks away. Our boy's answer is pure disrespect. He posts a video of 100 Ghost's humiliation on the forum and charges players to watch it, then charges more to share it. The whole server pays real coin just to laugh at a Reaver Guild enforcer being farmed back to level 0. The clip rockets to the top of the trending page. Players flood the comments cheering our boy Lin Feng, begging for screenshots of 100 Ghost's face to turn into memes. While the mighty Reaver Guild takes a public black eye no bounty coin can ever wipe off. Gentle Wind and Autumn Breeze both message him, half alarmed, half impressed, warning that the Reaver Guild is backed by a real-world corporation with subsidiaries everywhere. One Man Media offers to leak dirt on the guild for him. Our boy replies with 4 words, "Let them come if they dare." 100 Ghost, threatened by his own superiors to fix this mess or be replaced, loses it and cranks the bounty from 10 silver to 50, a full gold coin for whoever drags Lin Feng to level 0. Our schemer just leans back, perfectly relaxed. The Reaver Guild isn't his nemesis anymore. It's a stepping stone. Then he does the impossible for his level. He steps through the teleportation hall into Starfall City, a place players can't even enter until level 15. Leaving his best friend Shadowblade shrieking in disbelief on the other end of a video call before our boy calmly hangs up on him mid-sentence. His arrival sends a ripple through the frantic crowd at the hall. And the city administrator is openly puzzled that a rising star everyone expected to plant his flag in a prosperous metropolis has instead chosen a city clearly past its prime. It might not be ideal now, our boy answers respectfully. But that's only temporary. His future memory already whispers exactly what Starfalls is destined to become, and he intends to own it before anyone else remembers. He doesn't hide either. Standing among the crowd, our boy openly taunts the Reaver Guild, telling anyone connected to Loser Ghost that he's waiting in the city. He spots their spies instantly and slips a bribed guard a gold coin to sneak his future demoness, Lunar Wraith, into the city behind them. His inbox floods past 99 messages, guild after guild dangling outer elder titles and fat salaries. Our boy filters everyone into the trash. He's played the loyal servant before and had his throat cut for it. He will never be another guild's disposable tool again. This time, he builds his own. Guided into the Adventure Association's soundproof VIP room, a chamber his Baron status alone shouldn't grant him access to. Our boy accepts a mission far above his level and quietly lays the foundation for the guild that will one day tower over the Reaver Guild itself. 100 Ghost, now the laughingstock of every rival guild, plays his last card. Spreading a rumor that Lin Feng must be hiding a big secret to fuel such courage, hoping to sick aggressive rival guilds on our boy. It's clever. It's also useless, because verbal threats are all these people have. And Silver Wind, geared with equipment our boy quietly supplied, shows exactly how far Gentle Wind has risen. When arrogant guild representatives disrespect her in her own territory, her once scapegoat Steelshot cuts them all down in minutes, and footage of the one-sided wipe spreads across the server like wildfire. Our boy watches the empire he seeded from the shadows come into its own. His insurgency mission complete, our boy is summoned by a very pleased town mayor Adam, and ever the strategist. He hands most of the credit to Sandy, deepening the one NPC bond that keeps quietly unlocking doors no other player can even see. His reward stops him cold, a mirage pendant of legendary rarity. In a stage of the game where even rare gear is a fantasy, our boy now holds an artifact so powerful that even the strongest identification skills can't pierce the disguise it grants. He's effectively become a ghost. Just what is Sandy's origin, he wonders, to hand me something like this? Inside Starfall City's soundproof VIP room, a Tier 4 warrior named Howard dumps an impossibly high-level task on our boy and bolts before he can refuse. Our schemer just laughs at the shrewd old NPC. Now that he understands this city, he's a wolf who's wandered into a house of lambs, and he has absolutely no intention of leaving hungry. The deeper he digs into Starfalls, the wider his grin grows. The city is drowning in debt and quiet turmoil. Exactly the kind of chaos a man with future knowledge can farm for a fortune. Where he was once polite and careful, unsure of the ground, our boy now lounges in the VIP room like he owns it, ready to squeeze every possible advantage from people who have no idea what they're dealing with. And there's a shadow hanging over this whole night that only our boy can feel. In his old timeline, this exact birthday gala is where everything with Zhao Kai quietly began to rot. The day his friend walked in alone, while our boy ran off to the Reaver Guild's recruitment trial, chasing the ambition that would one day get him betrayed and erased. This time, he refuses to let history repeat. This time, he walks in at his friend's side. Then the real-world revenge lands with the force of an avalanche. Cruising to his grandfather's birthday gala with Shadowblade, our boy scrolls the news on his phone and reads the headline, "Dean Xiao has been arrested." Every crime the man committed, and the crimes he was about to commit, selling off desperate, talented students to guilds for profit, has been dragged into the light. Victims come forward, the public erupts, and the dean's fate is sealed, with no path of retreat. Because our boy fed the evidence straight to Ning Yi, whose father Ning Hor greenlit the operation, the media and police move in perfect, ruthless sync. Shadowblade rages at the headlines, disgusted, never once suspecting his quiet friend authored every single word of the man's downfall. Then his friend narrows his eyes. Wait, why don't you look surprised at all? You skipped that competition. Did you know about this beforehand? Our boy tilts his head, the picture of innocence, and asks simply, who? And Zhao Kai nearly explodes. Because that's the truth about goofball Zhao Kai. Give him one thread, and he sees the whole web. It's exactly why our boy never tells him anything. Let his friend enjoy the game as a carefree tank, while Xu Feng quietly carries the weight of 2 lifetimes alone. They roll up to Elysian Heights, the mountaintop enclave of the filthy rich, flashing a gold invitation Zhao Yin arranged, the very highest tier, reserved for those who hold real power in society. Shadowblade shrinks under the crowd's stares. Our boy adjusts his collar and strolls in like he was born to it. Inside, an old scheme nearly bites his friend. A wealthy young woman named Zhang Jinyi confronts Zhao Kai, furious, because once, dealing with her, our boy borrowed his friend's name as a smokescreen. Now the wrong man is taking the heat, and Zhao Kai has no idea why. Our boy steps to the front and untangles it in seconds, greeting Zhang Jingyi warmly and openly admitting the deception. In an instant, she pieces it together. The timid man everyone calls Zhao Kai is a decoy, and the confident one before her is the real culprit. "So, you're not Zhao Kai?" she asks. "Nope," he says. "I'm Xu Feng." Then he does what no one in her pampered life has ever dared. "If it weren't for the money you promised, I wouldn't have bothered helping you at all," our boy tells her flatly. "I'm just not interested in you or your family background." Zhang Jingyi is stunned into silence. Every man in her world grovels or schemes to win her favor, and this one is genuinely, visibly annoyed that she showed up. Even the ice-cold Zhao Xin stares, unable to believe the courage or the foolishness of a nobody speaking to a great family's daughter like that. And for the first time in her pampered life, Zhang Jingyi finds herself unsettled by exactly that. Why am I even angry that he lied to me? She wonders. No one has ever dared deceive her, and no one has ever wanted so little from her. And that honesty, jarring as it is the one thing that actually cuts through. Our boy has no idea he just made an impression precisely by not trying to. The gala hides sharper players too. While our boy diffuses one crisis, the second Zhao brother, Zhao Heng, slips off to chase his usual petty scandals, and the eldest, Zhao Ming, quietly stokes trouble for their sister, a nest of vipers our boy will one day have to clear if he means to take the family throne he promised Zhao Kai. And that's the whole engine of our boy's second life laid bare in a single room. The CEO who tried to poach Lin Feng and despises Xu Feng still can't tell they're the same man. His best friend has no clue his quiet buddy toppled a dean and farmed a super guild's enforcer. The women he schemes beside are the sister and the best friend of the goofball at his elbow. Then Zhao Kai fumbles it. Flustered, he lets a slip about clubs tumble out right in front of his terrifying sister, and Zhao Xin's eyes sharpen instantly. "What kind of club were you talking about, little brother? Care to share with your dear sister?" Our boy doesn't blink. While Zhao Kai hides behind him like a cat with its tail stepped on, Lin Feng calmly rewrites the whole thing into a harmless tale of book clubs. Then, when the CEO recalls the exact words, he pivots flawlessly, explaining that book clubs are simply too sophisticated for a man of Zhao Kai's limited brain. Both siblings are left checkmated and speechless.
Our boy pours himself a glass of expensive wine and savors it. Once you know your opponent, he thinks, they're never hard to beat. 20 years ago, in a future only he remembers, the world used our boy up and threw him away like garbage. Now he sits at the top table of the very people who don't even know his name yet, a broke nobody quietly holding every single card. He has a growth weapon being forged, a demoness legend recruited, a media puppet, a millionaire's fortune, a noble title, and a guild rising in the shadows to one day crush the Reaver Guild that betrayed him. The dramatic irony is total. Everyone underestimates the man who already knows how their story ends. And the man who was ordered to delete himself from existence, our boy Shu Fang, Lin Fang, the schemer with 2 faces and a 20-year head start, is only just getting started.